Thanks for the warning.
I know if not the warning you speak of, but what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Six Swing Podcast with myself, and of course, my man, Coach Santa, who's down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
but still feeling all the woes, all the pain. You know what? I was messing around with my light before I. There we go. But still feeling all the woes and all the pains of the Philadelphia fan as another shoe has dropped. I don't know how we're going to. I don't know if you're saying another shoe drop or a shoe drop, but
Fire Sirianni.
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Um, and before we get to it, I like to ask my people how they been. So Miguel,
Sir.
how you been?
Did I complain last week about the snow removal process of Baltimore City?
Yes.
Okay. So starting Monday night, they finally started getting rid of the snow and the ice. They found random empty abandoned lots to dump the snow 20, 30, 40, 100 feet high. And now everybody's surprised that it's flooding. Because I went to listen, I was a C plus student in high school. But my
You know what
science
that
class
means?
taught me that
You know what that
when
means? You're
huh?
above average.
Above average. Yeah, sure.
You're above average.
So what I learned very early on is that when ice is in a temperature above freezing,
Hmm.
it melts.
That is one of the things that stuck with me from school. When it is above 32 degrees Fahrenheit,
Mhm.
it will melt. And I believe this didn't stick with me over 0 degrees Celsius, right?
Sure.
Because I believe the freezing point in Celsius is zero. I think. I'm not sure. I think
Sure.
it is. I think it
I
is.
don't believe in the metric system.
It's because you're American.
America.
You're American, damn it. And you're down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
down there with was that Paul Revere? No, Francis Scott Key.
Francis Scott Key, the one that wrote the racist national anthem.
Hmm. Can't get more American than what you just said. Um,
And his
woo. Welcome to our last show.
dun, dun,
A
dun.
lot going on, right? A lot going on. I kind of we should have jumped right into it, but I had a question for Miguel. I was listening to the radio here. I give credit sometimes. I was listening to the radio here, and um, they were talking about Philadelphia loving a team like the the '04 Eagles, and they were comparing like could the '04 Eagles beat the '17 Eagles? Could they beat the Eagles, the '24 Eagles that just won the Super Bowl? Excuse me. So I started thinking. I said we Philadelphia, we did love that team, and it seemed like stopped. We never stopped loving that team, but we kind of started to let that team go when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, right? But as this year is a celebration of the Sixers team that went to the finals and didn't win. And we've mentioned it on the show a few times. I thought, what team is more beloved in this city? the 01 Sixers or the 04 Eagles, because they were both very loved teams. And then Miguel came up when I asked him the question. Miguel said, "Well, how about the '93 Phillies?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "That's another one. That's another one." So I haven't heard Miguel's answer yet. I want to hear your answer, Miguel. I want to hear your thoughts on that, and I'll give you mine.
Are those my only options?
Those three teams?
Yeah.
Yes. And I'll tell you why. I mean, it's obvious why, probably to you, but I'll tell the world why.
So I think for me, because I'm a baseball head, the '93 Phillies, and that was like not the '93 Philly. '93 was a very very special year in my life. Um, '93 is when I lost my virginity, uh, and so I had my first kiss, then I lost my virginity, or it might have been backwards. I don't know. It was the week after I think the Phillies were down 8-0 against the Giants, and they wound up coming back to win 10-8 or 9-8, something like that. So I thought, oh my god, I'm gonna marry this chick, and then I didn't. Um,
The summer of '93 was amazing for you, huh?
oh, it was explosive for many a reason. Um, but I remember because '93 was probably the year back then without social media and stuff like that. You can go up to a game the day of the game and just buy a ticket with cash and walk right into the stadium. I think '93 general admission was like $8. Um, so sometimes we would go out on a whim and just say, "Hey, it's a Tuesday night, nothing going on. Let's go down to the vet." Um, and I remember '93 was probably the '93 was also the year my brother he proposed to his wife um at the vet during a game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do remember that. Um,
Obviously, she said yes because you said his wife.
yes. Uh, I'm sorry,
Or
ex-wife.
was everybody yelling like "Say no, say no"? You know how we did at the vet.
Yeah, and we were the 600 like, don't do it, don't do it.
I wonder if I was there that night. That'd be funny.
Yeah. But yeah, '93. I mean, because you had like there was a lot of. I always remember some of the games. There was a 20 inning game. There was the game that was three that ended at 3 in the morning. Mitchie Poo hits a game winning hit. Mitch Williams got the game winning
That
hit.
double header, right?
That doubleheader. I mean, there was so many like moments. You know what I mean from '93, and that was my first. I was 14, so that was when I started really watching baseball, and that was the first competitive Phillies team that I grew up watching. Now, for the record, I was born in 1979.
Mhm.
1979, 1980, to this day, is the only year in the history of all of sports where all the teams went to their respective championships in that year. So in 1980, the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. They lost. In 1980, the Phillies went to the World Series and won. The Sixers lost to the Lakers in seven, and then the Flyers lost to the Islanders in six. And all of that happened in 1980. But since I was born in '79, you're welcome, Philadelphia.
So I'm just thinking what you just said. That Philly was one for four in
Yes, but
championships that year.
yeah.
But I was just thinking about a few years ago. We were like 0 for 7 or 0 for 5 or something like that. A couple years ago, you remember that?
Which year?
0 for 6, I think. It was the year that the Phillies went to the World Series and lost.
So only the Phillies and the Eagles went to their championships. The Flyers didn't go, and neither did the Sixers.
Correct. Um,
You mean it like as far as all the teams going to the playoffs and losing?
Who'd you say? The Eagle. You said the Eagle. The Eagles, the Phillies, right?
World Series, Super Bowl.
The Union went to their championship that year. And that same year, the Philadelphia, I believe they were called the Stars or something like that, of the USFL, they were in the championship that year. And there was something else too. That
Probably
might
the
have been the
fall.
year of the. Was that the same year of the shot? The not the double doink, but the when the Sixers lost to the Toronto Raptors, that shot Kawhi Leonard, it bounced all over the rim and went. Was that the
It
same year?
wasn't. It wasn't the same year, but I think it was back to back years that it happened. So that's why the double doink made it kind of.
So I'm going to answer a little later, right? Because when you threw the Phillies in there, it kind of shifted my
But so
gears a little bit.
so the other the I guess the I mean I'm coming with a lot of questions, right? Are these beloved teams because they were had a great season and came up short?
No, they're just beloved teams because like the city really kind
Had
of
the
had the love for that team. They even like to this day, like you wouldn't even think Jeremiah Trotter and them didn't win a championship.
right.
You know
His
what I
son
mean? You
did.
wouldn't think Allen Iverson and didn't win a championship, even though you know it.
Mhm.
I'll just go to the Phillies thing. The Phillies, the Phillies is not my answer because they they were different. Like they were different. They were a little different. We loved the team, and we felt like we kind of they were the blue collar. They were the blue collar Philadelphia team. Just all three of them were. Um, but I think it's because for me, there was no real dominant aspect to them. It was just they were kind of what was the dominant aspect to this team in '93?
They started off like 21-7. They had the best record in baseball up until.
I'm talking about in game.
What do you mean in game?
In game, like the Eagles that year, their defense
Oh,
was
so
impregnable.
right, I got you.
The Sixers, they had Iverson. He was just
A
Iverson was
ball.
Iverson, right? Like the city gravitated towards Iverson, but then you had the guys doing all the dirty work behind Iverson that didn't even care about the credit, and it was just like you got Michael Jackson and you got the Jackson Five. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
kind of like that. Like your Jackson Five, AI was Mike, everybody else was Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and whoever else and Randy.
Except that Michael Jackson would have showed up to rehearsal versus Allen Iverson not showing up to practice, but that's neither here nor there. Um,
Here you go.
I'm just
Ain't got nothing
saying.
to do with what we talking about.
You know. So here's the thing. You know what hurts about all these teams is that they were all one hit wonders. They all had the perfect. They
Ah,
all had. So like, all right. So look at the. Let's
I wouldn't say that about the Eagles.
True, very true. Because when they won in '04, they did lose three straight NFC Championship games. So they should have. They still could have won at least two Super Bowls. Um, one of which was because Belichick cheated, and that's the reason why he doesn't go in the Hall of Fame and shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
You know what I just
Um,
realized about that game? I'm sorry. Something I didn't remember, I guess. The Eagles only lost by 3 points, right?
mhm,
They had 5 turnovers in that game.
right. Yeah, I think McNabb threw an interception. He threw two. He threw two pick. One pick in I think the end of the first half or somewhere. I think there was a couple of fumbles. Yeah, there were a lot of turnovers that game.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That-
but that but
I forgot what you were saying. I'm sorry.
so no so like aside from the Eagles, but even though they imploded because of the whole TO thing. The Sixers were a one hit wonder,
Hmm.
because after that season, they never really
Well,
they made the playoffs every year, but they couldn't get past the first or second round. You know what I mean? Because Allen
yeah, but
Iverson,
see, like you wouldn't call the Phillies a one hit wonder right now.
not right now, but in '93 they were.
But that right, but I'm saying that Sixers team was kind of that, but just backwards. They went to the playoffs, got to different rounds, couldn't get over the hump, then did. The Phillies team went straight to the playoffs. Actually, had a couple. They had a couple of playoff runs. Went straight to World Series, and then had their playoff roles and they're trickling off.
So because the Phillies '93 had not been to the playoffs since '83, and
Right.
I think they were in last place 2 seasons before that. And then you had Jim Fergosi, who did the perfect thing with these bunch of guys. Rather than start certain guys, he platooned them. So like I always remember the platoon. Left field was Pete Incaviglia and Milt Thompson. Center field was Lane Dykstra, even though he wasn't platoon. He played all 162. Right field was Wes Chamberlain and Eisenreich.
Hmm.
And everybody had career years. And then as soon as that season went away, Tommy Green started getting injured. Darren Dalton started to deteriorate. Everybody just started to fall apart. Lenny Dykstra stopped taking his steroids. Um, you know,
They were true one hit wonder. They
true
had
one
that
hit
one
wonder.
year, and then they were pretty much like last place the rest of their lives.
But I would say the Sixers were a one hit wonder too, because after that season, after '01, Iverson proved that you can't win with just Iverson alone. He's great to watch, but he wasn't a winner.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Let's move it forward. I didn't mean to keep on going there, but we was having fun. Um, let's talk about some football. Let's talk about the Eagles, man. Let's talk about the Eagles. Let's talk about some of the stuff that just came down like within the last couple hours, man. I, I'm like, damn. I'm just looking at it like, man. I was waiting for the whole fake thing. You know how people die on Twitter.
Hmm.
I was
Yeah,
waiting.
Ron Jaworski died a couple weeks ago.
I'm not laughing because of that, y'all. I'm laughing because of Miguel. Miguel knows why I'm laughing.
I sent I sent the thing that because it didn't even say that he died. It just said like 1940 to 2026. He was one of the greats. I was like, what the hell is this?
You just sent that thing to everybody, huh?
I did.
Um, here we go. Here we go. He said every time a Super Bowl come up, Philly folks want to talk about the Eagles. I don't know what he's talking about, but I guess he's just trying to get his
Well, we're not talking about the Colts, that's for sure.
oh. Well, look, like I said, a couple hours ago, the news came down. It was kind of crazy, man. Jeff Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland is leaving the Eagles. Um, I don't know his contract situation. I don't believe he's like a free agent or anything like that. Um, did he quit? Like, did he just like did he quit? Like, what did he do?
I mean, based on his
Quit,
quote,
right?
huh?
He quit, right?
Yeah, he said he's stepping
Like
down.
basically, he pretty much quit. So why? Like, yo, man. Listen, right now it feels really shaky with the Eagles right now. We had the news come out was over the weekend about Vic Fangio. He's contemplating retirement. Um, that one is more that one is more understandable to me, I guess, Miguel. I believe he's
Mhm.
like 68 years old. He's been coaching like 40 years. You know, he could be burnt out, or he could be approaching that burnt out. You know, he might be want to do something else like that. I can understand. I can get that. Could be part of the equation, but something don't smell right coming out of the Novacare complex, man. Something don't smell right, Miguel. What you think? Am I just being worried?
No, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that I have a feeling maybe the front office was a little discouraged by how long it took them to get an offensive coordinator. And, they have so many coaches that, I'm sure the offensive coordinator wants to come in and do his own thing and, you know, whatever. But I think it's a big blow from the standpoint of like now you're losing the leader of your foundation, your offensive line. That's the foundation of your offense, is the offensive line. And we already started seeing cracks in it last year with all the times that, you know, Hertz was already on the run as soon as he had the ball snapped to him. So, which I don't know that a lot of injuries last year. I can't put a lot of that on the players and coaches, but yeah, it's a tough one.
That is tough. And the reports were that with the hiring of Mannion, that there were some reports that Stoutland was basically not going to have run game coordinator duties anymore. I don't know if that means, you know, I don't know who is going to have that, but it's not going to be him anymore. Maybe that's part of his deal. Like, yo, this is what I do. Y'all not going to let me do this. I don't want to be here. Could be that. Could be. Let me recklessly speculate, as some would say. Um, could be they don't like what's going on with Sirianni. Maybe this year expose some stuff because you have now. You had the fire offensive coordinator. You had to. You might have to replace your defensive coordinator. Hopefully not. I mean, the longer you got to wait on this, like, sheesh, right? Um, and now you have to replace your offensive line coach, who is beloved, who is beloved in this city because this city loves this offensive line, and that offensive line love that man. I wouldn't be surprised if you see offensive linemen leaving um, once their contracts are up and maybe going wherever Stoutland is.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising.
Jason Kelsey. This is you want to read that, Miguel? You want me to read that? I can read
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It was your graphics. I didn't know if you wanted to read it or not.
That's fine.
All right. So Jason Kelsey had this to say. He said, "There's absolutely no one I credit more with the career I had than Jeff Stoutland. The consistent passion and his eagerness to teach pushed my teammates, me, and our room to amazing success. More importantly, we became incredibly close as people. It was more than just coaching and teaching, it was his presence and sense of urgency that was unaccepting of mediocrity and potential left behind. He will undoubtedly be missed inside the building and everyone that played for him. I am incredible. I'm sorry, I'm looking over my camera, y'all. I am incredible. I guess that's supposed to be incredibly
Mhm.
grateful to have played for Stout. One of one, coach and person. I love you, coach. That's what Jason Kelsey had to say. Um, and the offensive. I I think this is the second time in my entire Eagles fandom where I knew who the offensive line coach was. Because wasn't it Ben Rivera? Not Ben Rivera.
Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera. Wasn't it Ron Rivera at one point? No, not
Yeah,
Ron Rivera. Who was the guy that he was what was he? He was I think he was the offensive line coach and then became the defensive coordinator.
that's Ron Rivera.
That was Ron Rivera?
No, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't Ron. We'll get it later. Maybe somebody can shoot that one to us. Um oh boy. We got a whole lot of comments in here. A whole lot of comments in there. Where was I? Yeah, something's going on. Something stinks down in the Novacare complex, and I'm not just talking about just the air in the area. Something don't calculate, y'all. Something don't calculate. Hit us up. Hit us up. We got our phones back. Hit us up 727-731-8267. You can hit us up there. Of course, you can always hit us on our text line at 484-606-6061. Or as we've already showed you, you can put your comments in the chat and we'll put them on the screen. Some of them, maybe not all of them. So let's talk about this real quick. We talked about Bill Belichick last week, right? And Juan Castillo. Thank you. Juan Castillo.
Wrong Latino. Got it.
Glad you said that. Juan
Juan Castillo.
Bill Belichick, as we mentioned last week, was not voted into Hall of Fame, and people kind of went into an uproar. And I was kind of like, I kind of was too. And this week, it comes out that his one-time boss, Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots, will not be going into the Hall of Fame on this vote. And I don't know, honestly, if anybody has ever really cared about an owner going into the Hall of Fame. And I really still don't. But because of what happened last week, it makes this interesting. And it makes what people were saying last week, it makes their statements more valid. Because people were saying that Belichick, a lot of people saying Belichick doesn't get in because of the cheating scandals. You say, yeah, could be. Like, I could be, right? But then Kraft doesn't get in on the first ballot. And we put a whole thing on our first ballot. But anyway, Kraft doesn't get in on the first ballot. He doesn't play on the field. So what keeps him off? I think he did have some legal issues maybe a couple years ago. Kind of went away, if I remember correctly. If I'm not remembering correctly, I'm sorry. But he was the owner of the team of the cheating scandals. So Bill Belichick not in on the first ballot. Robert Kraft not in on the first ballot. So that kind of just makes you think about one, Tom Montgomery Aloysius Brady. Does he also not get in on the first ballot? Because what possibly kept his coach and his franchise owner out of the Hall of Fame? Could it possibly be the same thing that keeps him? Do you think, Miguel? Do you think the voters would do that?
I don't think they would do that to Brady for the simple fact that he won a Super Bowl without Belichick, and Belichick couldn't win one without Brady.
So you're saying the fact that Tom Brady won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay is what gets him in on the first ballot? I mean, that's what puts him above the.
I would say so. I would say so because one of the biggest knocks with Belichick was that he couldn't win without Brady, right? And by all intents and purposes, that's the truth. Even though he did win two Super Bowls with the Giants as a defensive coordinator, so we obviously know he knows he's a great defensive mind. Um, but with Belichick, it's the cheating, and I don't know that he makes it on the second ballot. I think they're going to make him wait a little bit. In regards to Kraft, the whole sex scandal from 2019 doesn't help him. I was reading a story just today that a couple of hours ago that he was connected to Epstein from a standpoint of Epstein reaching out to him to see if he needed legal assistance for his sexual misconduct. So, and of course, there are receipts. So, I don't think Kraft will get in
You
for
know
a while.
who else was recently linked to Epstein? Two other
Josh
people,
Harris.
Josh Harris, and you know who else? There's another owner. I don't know his name, forgot his name, but I'll just say he's the owner of the New York Football Giants.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And from what was reported, the Josh Harris connection looked to be strictly business related, where the Giants owner was more than that. It seemed
He was strict.
There was some scouting of women going on.
He was definitely out for the pricklies. Yes.
You said something earlier, Miguel,
Oh.
that bothers me in sports arguments. It don't bother me, it's always great for a debate. They say Belichick couldn't win one without Brady, which can't really deny, right?
Mhm.
And Brady won one without Belichick. But it doesn't take the fact away that Belichick was a head coach for 6 Super Bowl championship winning teams. Like it
See, but
really, he regardless of who was on the team. Yes, I mean Brady the first year. It's not like Brady the first year was, or it's not like Brady the last year was Brady the first year.
Mhm.
He wasn't great his first year. You know what I mean? He became great, but I mean, nobody says Mike couldn't win one without Scotty. Nobody says Mike couldn't win one without Phil Jackson. They don't say that about Kobe. They don't say Kobe couldn't win without Phil Jackson. He did win without Shaq. Some people do say that Phil couldn't win without a great player, but I mean, you got to be able to coach a great player.
well, I guess for me,
7 of them.
like I look at Joe Gibbs, right? He won three Super Bowls with three different quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Bill Parcells, who won two Super Bowls with two different quarterbacks and won wherever he went with different quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like took his teams to the brink. You know what I mean? In some cases, and hell, he was probably the most successful Jets coach in the last like 40 years when he coached for the Jets. But I just when it comes to Belichick, The fact that the NFL knew he cheated, got rid of the evidence, I think that cloud is always going to be overset. It would have been fine had he won all the championships and there was not one cheating scandal, but he had two. And Deflategate, I think, was a bit much about nothing. And Tom Brady kind of shoved up the commissioners, but by winning the Super Bowl, that's the very next year. So that was all null and void. But you still can't, because now there were certain games where you could tell something was amiss. Like even when they won their first Super Bowl against the Rams, all of a sudden, the Rams had to reconfigure their entire offense because they just seemed to know where everything was going. You know what I mean? In the Super Bowl against the Eagles, the one play that they were always great at was what? The screen pass. They were one of the best screen pass teams, arguably in the history of the game, but in 2004 they were great. They couldn't get off a screen pass. And then to come find out what a year or two after that Super Bowl that the cheating was going on, well, there's your answer there.
So what we're talking? How many Super Bowls Cheetah for? 3, 4.
3 or 4, at least.
So Tom Brady doesn't get dinged for that. He was the quarterback.
I mean, ultimately it
He
falls,
benefited from it.
but ultimately it falls on the coach because it's the coach that hired the people
No, it
to.
does fall. But what I'm saying is, does does that discretion go to Tom Brady when it's time to vote for him for the Hall of Fame?
Not when he can win in on multiple teams. I really think him winning a championship outside of the New England norm, I say that isolates him as an all around champion. Because the
Now, is
one
that
that,
your opinion, or is that your opinion, or is that your opinion of what the voters are going to do?
I want to say both, um, because they take a lot into account more than they probably should, but you know, but I mean that's how, if I was a reporter, that's how I would look at it. So I would assume or hope that they would use some common sense. I know there's a lot of emotion in the vote, but
It's going to be interesting to see. I feel like I feel like I feel like that Super Bowl in Tampa is not going to hold as much weight as like I think it's going to hold a lot of weight, but I don't think it's like that. I think that will be the deciding factor, like how people are weighing that Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. He also had Gronk on that team. He had Shady on that team too. And a lot of I don't know. He benefited. He benefited from the cheating just like everybody else from that team. So kick them all out the Hall of Fame. Um, let's move forward a little bit. I'm just looking at the notes here. Um, trade deadline in the NBA. Miguel, can I just tell you, as a NBA fan, as a basketball fan, like the trade deadline time was like always like such a fun time for me. Like to hear like who got traded to where. Like I guess if you're a player, it's not that great. Like you're probably on pins and needles. Like whether you want to go or not, you're probably like,
that's every sports trade deadline, minus football. But yeah, I would say that's every
again.
sport. I would say that's every sports trade deadline minus football.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I would agree with that. Um, And for me, I'm like, I love it. Where's this person going? Oh, that team's going to be, that team's going to be nasty with them. Ooh, this going to be crazy. I'm going to play the video game with that team. I'm going to see, it's crazy. I'm going to, let's just mention first. Sixers traded Jared McCain today. That was their first round draft pick from not this past year, but he was a rookie last year. who people think might have contended for Rookie of the Year had he not gotten hurt, torn his meniscus early in the season, missed the whole season. But they traded him for 4 draft picks. And I'm going to give you my opinion on this. I'm mad my computer died. I should have plugged it in. I was being arrogant. The Sixers, what they just did was they created one roster spot. They cleared a roster spot just now. They are. I was looking into it, and they have 3 players on their team that are on what's called doggone it. What's it called? I'm so mad I didn't write this down. But they're on a contract. I know. Ryan's going to put the information in there for me when he hears what I'm trying to say. A 2-way contract. Thank you. 2-way contract. They have 3 players that are on 2-way contracts right now. And what has to happen with a 2-way contract, they have, I guess it's like minor league baseball. I don't know, Miguel. You could tell me. Where they have a certain amount of games that they can play in the NBA. If you sign with a team in the beginning of the year on a 2-way contract, you have 50 games that you can play in the NBA, whether you play in the game or not. If you are active for that game, it's one of the 50 games. They have 3 players on 2-way contracts in which I feel like 2 of them are playing 2 of them kind of play a big. One plays a bigger role than the other, but I feel like 2 of them playing a big role. One of them hit their 50th game last night when they played the Golden State Warriors. The other one, Barlow, is playing in he has 10 games remaining on his 2-way contract. So what has to happen is for them, the Sixers are looking to make the playoffs and hopefully making a push in the playoffs. They have to sign these guys to an NBA contract if they want to keep them on the roster. So if they sign these guys to a contract, then they don't have enough roster spots. So they had to clear a roster spot. I think at least for one, I think Barlow is going to this is my opinion. I think Barlow probably gets a roster spot. Unless there's still some more willing and dealing they're doing, they're going to bring another player in there. I don't know. But I think Barlow gets a roster spot when his 2-way contract is up. And Jabari, is it Jabari? I had the name up there. I was being arrogant. But when his already ended, so I'm interested to see what happens with him. Moving along, Miguel.
Sir.
James Harden got traded again. He's on a new team. Now, it's interesting because the Clippers played the Sixers 2 nights ago. What's today? Wednesday. They played the Sixers on Monday. Okay. James Harden did not play in that game, and the speculation was he's probably getting traded, right? But then it comes out that they said James Harden was demanding a trade. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, to be honest with you. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I'm not saying that he didn't want to be traded or didn't want to out of LA, but I know he wanted to be in LA. But now, he's looking to win a championship. So we'll see. He doesn't have, that many days left in the league compared to how many days he's played. Let's put it that way. My son is setting on that career as well because he's been there for a while. But he's traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, for Darius Garland. Darius Garland's headed to the Clippers. And it's an interesting trade because I know I was watching some games. I think it was over Christmas time, and and even the Cavaliers played the Sixers recently. Darius Garland and doggone it, my mind is failing me today. What's my
Some
man's
more
name?
Ginkgo biloba.
Yeah, I need to get back on my ginkgo. I can't think of my man's name to play. I always forget his name. They call him Spider. This one NBA star, I always forget his name. I have no idea why. But anyway, they kind of couldn't really play together. Like it wasn't like any beef in them, but they couldn't really play together. So they were talking about, somebody's gonna have to figure something out going into the playoffs, how these two guys, how they can have them both on the floor. Now that's not a problem because James Harden is there now. So good luck with that, Cleveland. AD, Anthony Davis, he got traded to Washington. He's going to be possibly closer to where you are, Miguel. I don't know if he'll actually have to play for Washington. This NBA stuff's kind of funny, but he's headed to Washington D.C. He just got traded last year around this time from L.A. to Dallas. Now he's going from Dallas to D.C. I will say it. I've said it many times. I think Anthony Davis is talented. I think he's a good basketball player. I think he's somewhat of a star. But I think he's overrated, Miguel. I really do. I think he's overrated just because, I mean, he's won a championship, but I just feel like, what is he? What does he carry the team to? What is he? I'm sorry, and you're hurt a lot. So
Ooh, that sounds like Joel Embiid.
yeah, but he don't even put up the numbers Joel Embiid puts up, and he was considered a what's it called, top 75 player ever. That whole thing they do.
Mhm.
He was considered a top 75 player ever. What? Come on, man. Come on, man. I can't. Nah, man. I can't rock with it. I can't rock with it. NBA trade deadline is tomorrow, Thursday at 3 o'clock. Um, Over the weekend, the story came out. Paul George is suspended for 25 games. He's been playing well. Um, Anti-drug policy or whatever it's called, Miguel. He said he took something that he shouldn't have took for a mental health thing. Um, Possible, quite possible, totally avoidable from what I'm hearing.
It
Totally.
sounds similar to what happened with Carlos Ruiz the 1 year. All he needed was to get a prescription, and it cost him. I think he got 25. He got hit with 25 games too, or 50 games.
Mhm.
But once he got the script, then he was fine. So it was maybe just a formality. So
When he returns, the Sixers will have 10 games left in the regular season. If he doesn't get traded. Let's put that out there. Um, I'm missing something. Oh, Miguel,
sure.
real quick, you put in here the ABS system is here for 2026. Did you want to go over that real quick?
So the ABS system, for those that don't know, it's I forget what the acronym is, but basically it's the automated strike zone coming to a stadium near you. They perfected the system. They played with it or allowed it in spring training last year. Um, so basically, it's a challenge system that gives you an immediate response. There's no if ands or buts about it. It's similar to what they do in tennis to see if a ball is in or out. Um,
Cyclops.
Cyclops, right? Um, so each team will be allowed two challenges per game. It's initiated by the hitter, pitcher, or the catcher. The challenges are immediate and binary. So either the call is overturned or it isn't, which keeps the pace intact. That's the whole premise. Um, and to the point where I think even if it nicks the strike zone, it's called a strike. So
Hmm.
I think that was the only issue that I kind of had. I'm like, if a baseball is only like 1/16 in the zone, should it be called a strike? But whatever.
Hey, if it's in
It's
the zone,
better.
it's in the zone.
It's if it's in the zone. True, yeah. If it's in the zone, it's in the zone. I got you. So, but some people were like, "Oh, well, this kind of takes away some of that." But remember, it's only two challenges per game, so it's not that they can do it on every.
I don't like that part of it.
You want to have it like on every opportunity.
I want you to have you can have your two challenges, but I think if you get a challenge right, you should get your challenge back. Like if you get two challenges and you're wrong, you lose your challenges.
Like they do, yeah,
But
I got you.
but if you get your challenge right, if or return or whatever you want, you get your challenge back. Or maybe because that could get a little carried away. Maybe you get your challenge back, and then we could say you get. Let's call it you getting an extra challenge, but you get your challenges until you get one wrong. Like you get two, but you until you get one wrong, you still get challenges.
I I want to see, is it any pitch that you get to do challenges? Because to me, I think you should only get the challenge if it's a debatable call third strike.
I think it's going to be any pitch.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. For me, I would only allow it on the call third, second or third strike. I mean, yeah, call third strike, because I mean that's really what matters anyway. Not strike one. Strike two, yeah, because it can kind of change the sequence if you're 0 and 2 instead of 1 and 1. But you know,
I think I like what you're saying because I think it adds a little drama.
yeah,
It adds drama to it. But make it for any pitch, and I say you get your two, and then you get one right or whatever. You get challenges until
get
you
a
get
third
one
one.
wrong. Until you get one wrong. That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting. Um, the White Sox pitcher, I didn't get his name. He's a Japanese pitcher. They signed him. He's a big time pitcher coming across. He didn't sign with the Phillies, so whatever. Um,
Did
part
I?
of
Did you put this in here?
I did
Why?
because I thought it was interesting. It was just supposed to be a mention. It's not something we got to talk
And
about.
but it's their third baseman, Manataka Murakami,
Oh, it's the third baseman, not the pitcher.
or the third base pitcher. Yeah,
Wait, what?
it's the he's gonna be DHing pretty much because he can't field. But yeah, first base slash DH.
Oh, he's not a pitcher.
Correct.
Oh, well, I don't know why I thought he was a pitcher, but anyway, doggone it, a player from Japan that just signed with the Chicago White Sox. Part of I guess in his contract, um, he wanted a bidet installed into the clubhouse. So the White Sox are installing a bidet in the clubhouse. Which Miguel, have you ever used a bidet?
Every time I look at every time I've seen one, I'm like, I always look under. I don't know how to use it, so it's like I
I've never, I've never. I think in my life I've been around one, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like I remember thinking it was like an extra toilet. Um, I'm sorry, it made me think of something that happened in Mexico, but but yeah, I've never really been around a bidet. I've never used a bidet. Um, I wouldn't even know how to use a bidet, to be honest with you.
would you like to know how
Only if I had to use one.
a
I don't want.
bidet?
I wouldn't like to know how right now. Like I know you like sit on it or whatever. I guess you sit on it or hover. I don't know.
So AI says this. A
Oh,
bidet is used to clean the genital and anal areas with water after using the toilet, providing superior hygiene compared to toilet paper. So after using the toilet, sit or hover over the basin or stay seated on the bidet seat. Activate the water stream and wash for 20 to 60 seconds before drying with a towel or a minimal toilet paper. Oh, and there's a video.
and there's a what?
A video.
I don't need that. Um, so like this is after toilet paper.
after use, but replacing toilet paper.
So you
Let's watch some videos. Let's not
no
talk.
because what I'm about to
We
ask,
are not talking about.
what I'm trying to ask is not going to be on any videos we can show. But I'm trying to ask it in a way that's not ridiculous. Well, maybe I guess the way I'm about to phrase it, I guess you probably would have to see the video. But like, do you have to move to make sure all the
Remnants.
all the remnant is gone?
Yeah.
Like, do you have to adjust yourself?
Hmm. You have to hover where the water shoots. You know.
All right.
You put this in the
I
notes.
never thought we would ever talk about a bidet. Well, I never thought it at all, but this is not one of the things I ever thought we would be talking about on this show on how to use a bidet.
And for the record, you put this in the notes.
I did. I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think we were going to talk about a bidet for 5 minutes when I put this in there. I just thought it was interesting that in his contract he wanted a bidet installed, and they're going to do it. They got to do it. I wonder if everybody's going to use it, or if it's just like his own personal bidet. Yo, wait a minute. So multiple people used. You know what? Let's move on because that just seems like. Never mind, because I don't know.
It's like using a public toilet. You're using a public stream of water to clean your anus.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone because I'm just thinking like, what if stuff fall on the thing?
Why
That's
did
strange.
why did you even bring this up?
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
This is the worst rabbit hole we've ever gone down. You know
Yeah,
that?
it really is.
Pun
And
intended.
now I'm probably going to go down a rabbit hole. You know what? Never mind. Never
Did you
mind.
say you were going to grab a rabbit's hole? Is that what you just said?
No, I did. I definitely didn't say that.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with your speakers over there. Um, what else? What else we need to go to? Because I don't know if you got a
I
got a.
got a couple videos. We can do the videos, and then I'm gonna stump you, and then you'll lose, and then we'll call it a night.
All right. So am I just dropping this video in right now?
Yes, and it's going to be hurtful.
All right. Here we go. Let me tell you something. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was too quick on the draw. I can put it back up.
Let me tell you something. I didn't realize how like firm a soccer ball is as you get older. Like when you're younger, they're not as bad, but when you get oh my that
Mm-hmm.
oh my goodness.
I witnessed somebody break their nose with a soccer ball.
Oh my goodness. All right, what we got? What we got next?
Let's see. Let's go to reasons why you would need an old drug called momentum.
Okay, let's see. Old drug called momentum. Let's see. Momentum. By Menon. Here we go.
Your back is acting up again. Try Momentum Muscular Backache Formula when your back hurts. Momentum, extra medicine for effective backache relief.
Ooh wee. Ooh. He gonna need a bidet.
Yeah.
He,
So this this next video is an interesting concept that I think is going to catch on quick. It's taking one aspect of a game and just highlighting that aspect. Is it
okay,
genius or is it stupid?
let's see.
This is going to be a good one. And here we go. All right. Oh, wow. Oh, everybody off for the gun. Oh, look at that. Oh! Look at Dave Phil.
Is it genius or is it stupid?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You know, I was so ready to say it was genius until they started fighting.
Why?
Now, if I'm watching a hockey game, which I actually had a hockey game on last night, I was watching the Flyers and the Capitals. Well, I had it on. I can't say I was watching. Um, I want to see. There's two things I want to see. I want to see a score, and I want to see a fight. And a lot of times, hockey fights are not that interesting. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're not that interesting. Um, but I don't know. I was a little disappointed in that fight that you just had up there. I don't know if it was because there was like no gloves. Like I think I want to see the gloves first, and then throw the gloves down. And I don't know. I don't know.
Because in a hockey game you do see like the gloves flying and the helmets, then you see them go at it.
Yeah, like this was just two guys fighting on skates for me.
I got you. But I mean, but I still like the premise of it.
I do like the premise of it. I do like the premise of it. It's not something that I don't think it was something that I would spend 5 minutes watching on YouTube though. I'm just
Touche.
me. Just me. All right, what we got here?
Um, a noble effort is what I'll say.
Okay, here we go.
That's your boy.
Yo, can you play that again?
I might have to re-upload it again, but
All right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I was kind of interested. I wish I had another angle. I'm kind of interested to see if he was kind of like pushed, but you that you don't usually see people get blocked by the backboard. And he had the angle too. Like you like right
did.
on the angle. He had the. I thought he was MJ on the angle, but nah, man, didn't work out for you. Didn't work out for you. So you said you're stumping me today, right?
Yes, sir. Let's see.
Yeah, you cheated last week.
How did I cheat?
I don't remember. Who was it last week? Do you remember?
Oh, it was Jose Batista.
Yeah, you cheated.
How's that cheating?
Cause that I would have had to be on like Jeopardy to know that one. He played for the Phillies for like 20 minutes.
No, 20 games. There's a difference.
Not bad. The game. All right. So if you're new to the show, we do this thing where I gotta turn the chat off. We do this thing where Miguel picks a player associated with the Philadelphia team, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, Eagles. Well, I guess you did do Flyers before. And put some accolades on there that this player might have achieved. And the jersey numbers that he wore for any teams that he might have played for. So We are looking at. I feel like I'm gonna be mad that I don't get this one. Is a one-time Pro Bowler, one-time Super Bowl champ, and in 2013. What is that?
Pro
Yeah,
Football
yeah.
Writers Association Most Improved Player.
None other than Alshon Jeffrey. Yes, sir. Yes,
That
sir.
might be
Go back to back because the ball slipped right through his fingers.
that might be in record time, sir.
Yeah, I was stalling, trying to remember. Like I couldn't remember the first name for a little while. I couldn't remember the first. I was kind of stalling and thinking at the same time. So I had to play my own mind game. I don't have like applause or nothing on here for myself. Nope, I don't have anything.
You should just do the Ric Flair. Woo! You can find
Well,
that
I
anywhere.
need to add that. I need to add that.
Yes.
It's a good idea. All right. All right. Well, any last words, Miguel, before we get out of here?
My final words, twofold. Keep Brian Dawkins, Eagles legend, in your prayers. I believe he was diagnosed with a form of brain cancer
Mm,
that he's fighting.
mm.
Last I saw, I think it was maybe like 2 weeks ago where he was diagnosed. So, and I put in the video, uh, I guess, a remembrance of this last snowstorm.
Remembrance of last. Okay. All right. Let me. Is it like a rollout video?
No, it's just something you sent me that I just couldn't stop laughing at.
Okay. Let's see what we got.
One.
It didn't play on.
You good?
It didn't play on our end.
Why?
It was frozen in time. I don't know.
Let me try to see if that works.
All right. Let's try it again.
One.
You good?
I don't know if it was on I don't know if it was as slow on your end as it was on mine, but
It was about a 12-second delay.
kind of took away from the. It was so slow, it took away from the impact. Didn't even seem as bad, but it's all good. We'll post that. Can we post that? Maybe we'll post that to the Check Swing page on Instagram. Y'all can check that out.
There you go.
And make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. Check Swing. What is it? Check Swing. Hold up. Check Swing Podcast on Instagram, and of course follow New Twist Radio. Subscribe to the New Twist Radio YouTube channel as soon as you can. You can do it right now, right away. Hurry. With that being said, we're going to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast with myself. And of course, the brains and brawn of the situation, my man, Coach Miguel, who's down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
We go and get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us. We'll talk to y'all next week. Right? Ain't no holidays in that next week, right? No. Talk to y'all next week. Same time, same place. Peace out, y'all.
Until we meet again.